Hi there, and thanks for listening. I'm Daniel Kringer, and this is the SkanFest Podcast, an interview series for the Skaneateles Festival. We are a concert series based in Finger Lakes region of upstate New York during the month of August. This year, we are presenting our 46th season. On the podcast, we spend time getting to know our visiting artists who travel the world making music of the highest caliber. Described as the world's only period instrument rock band from the San Francisco classical voice, Ruckus is a shape-shifting, collaborative Baroque ensemble with a visceral and playful approach to early music. I have two members of Ruckus with me today, Clay Zeller-Townsend and Kier Gogwilt. We're so happy to have you with us. Thanks, guys.
Our pleasure.
Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Thanks.
So, we'll get into talking about the group, but I just want to start with you guys individually. I wonder if you might just be willing to tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you play, maybe a couple words about what got you into music, and maybe specifically early music. Maybe that's a lot to start with, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. So my name's Clay Zeller-Townsend. I'm a Baroque bassoonist and the artistic director of Ruckus, or sort of shepherd of the group. And I started off as a saxophone player and got into the bassoon gradually in high school, but found my way to the Baroque bassoon because I encountered a couple different performances of period instruments in college that showed me how much this music could just like feel alive and frankly just rock out. Mm-hmm. And the bassoon, like the Baroque bassoon especially, just has this like really special sound. Mm-hmm. and I've only ever been drawn to it really for that purpose, but because like Baroque music can rock out, and that's kept me engaged with it ever since.
Awesome.
And my name is Kier. I play violin, and I guess I got into early music I was exposed to it relatively early. I come from a family of musicians, especially on my dad's side. So my uncle is a period performer on violin, one of like the older generation of people who really started doing that. And then a lot of my uncles and great uncles are musicians and come from a musical family. So, I've been getting into it early, and this is my first collaboration with Ruckus, was the Edinburgh Baroque. And so it's been just like a wild ride getting into work with this group.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Cool. So can you guys tell me a little more about what Ruckus is?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So in the Baroque period, 1600, 1750, within those 150 years, there's this distinct kind of ensemble called the continuo section. Mm-hmm. And the continuo section is what Ruckus is. Ruckus is a 21st century continuo band, and that our instruments are similar to you would encounter in a rhythm section of many different genres. So that means keyboards, guitars, bass instruments, upright bass, cello, bassoon in my case, percussion. It's this sort of machine of Baroque music that is an improvisatory musical world. Mm-hmm. Our guitarists are improvising, our keyboardist is improvising constantly, and it's this sort of machine for texture and change within the music, and we sort of take it to our own place. But that's what Ruckus is. It's this sort of rhythmic core of the Baroque period, and as such we can work with lots of different kinds of artists, like here on violin, singers and the like. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I always love having ensembles come in for interviews because we get to maybe ask a little bit about the origin story. I don't know, Kier just said he's kind of come in sort of, are you kind of performing as a guest for part of like a tour, or what is...
Collaborator for this project.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I have questions about that later on as well. But if you want to tell me a little bit about how Ruckus sort of got started as well, and also where the name came from.
Sure. Yeah, indeed. Well, the core members of Ruckus, we all went to Juilliard together. We've been involved in a variety of groups since then, and the progression, Ruckus sort of feels like the culmination of 10 years of development before Ruckus existed. We were doing things like a lot of contemporary music for period instruments, a lot of new works, and then there was one version with the bassist, myself, and the guitarist, where we were doing like a Joanna Newsom cover band, and then that version had to fold, and I was talking to Doug, our bassist, and I was like, Doug, we just need to do that band, that sort of rock cover band attitude, but actually do Baroque music, and with the right people. So that's, it's the culmination of a long time of knowing each other and of trying things out and of experimenting using Baroque instruments is sort of at the core of this story together. And then the name Ruckus, I had this vision of a group that doesn't take itself too seriously, and is interested in how this continuo ensemble can connect early repertoire to the 21st century through various traditions in American musical history, trying to like really link this continuo texture to an American history. And I think the name Ruckus was also a little bit, tongue-in-cheek, because I think oftentimes like a lot of Baroque music we encounter today is maybe solely focused on elegance. And I think there's a lot more to Baroque music than just elegant wallpaper. So the name was like, well, let's put down what we want to live up to.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Fantastic. Right. So maybe connected to that, maybe more individually for each of you guys, I'm curious to know if there are maybe current or past figures that you regard as having an influence on your music making, as I said, either individually or maybe as an ensemble. Anything you guys want to talk about there?
Well, I mean, for this program specifically, I think that the kind of two figures that we're really drawing from and influenced by are Neil Gow and Arcangelo Corelli, which can seem kind of like a bit of an odd pairing because Neil Gow is, known as this kind of preeminent Scottish fiddler of the 18th century, and Corelli is kind of like the, in a way, like the foundational figure of Italianate classical violin music and also Baroque music more broadly, instrumental music more broadly. But we've been finding a lot of really interesting kind of historical overlaps and parallels. One of them being that a lot of Italian musicians like many of Corelli's students would come over to Scotland and Wales and Ireland in search of work. And so there was a lot of overlap between the Italianate tradition and the Scottish folk tradition, like in that time. So I think like we've been kind of influenced by that in this program, in terms of finding ways to groove in the Italianate music like we do in the fiddle music, and then in the fiddle music finding ways to create really florid and beautiful ornamentation and textures that you might think of as Baroque, but in fact, probably a lot of it originated in the folk music, in Scotland and Italy and Eastern Europe. So yeah.
That's a really cool way to think. I like what you said about sort of finding the groove, because that's kind of like common in all music, although maybe the wording is different, right? That's really cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, I will circle back to the program for tonight by the end of the interview. But I want to talk just a little bit more about Ruckus, the group. Kind of a couple things. First, are there any memories you guys have of initial gigs? You said 10 years? About? Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, as a group, we've been around since 2017.
Gotcha, yeah. So any ideas of like maybe initial gigs you had, putting the group together and stuff like that, and perhaps any, from your point of view, like a crucial moments in your development? Maybe there were, maybe there weren't. I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah, the first show we ever did was an opera in Brooklyn at National Sawdust, and it was amazing and super intense. It was sort of trial by fire. It was a very strange way to start a group, because we were essentially like screamed at for 2 weeks by the stage director, who
that's always fun.
who was after something really specific, and it did yield some amazing results, sadly. Yeah, we survived. And then our first sort of calling card project was a collaboration with Emmy Ferguson, the flute player of Bach's flute and continuo sonatas. So we've done those a lot, and now we're sort of in, I don't know what chapter it is, but we are doing these staged Handel operas at Hudson Hall in the Hudson Valley, and actually working with like a director who is connected to this first person we worked with. The first director we worked with, Christopher Alden, was, and R.B. Schlothers, who we worked with now, and it's we all feel like there's a new, I don't know, because we've been touring a lot as a band, like we are, I think, really communicating on a deeper level than we were, than we ever have been.
Yeah, fantastic. This is a great kind of chance to talk about this, maybe from your perspective, also Kira's perspective, this idea of kind of, I guess, how do you find continuity in the group when your membership changes? With Ruckus, from the initial kind of onset, how many original members do you still have? And
yeah, I mean, it's basically the same crew.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of continuity built in.
Yeah.
We really try and stay like as like the continuo core pretty much stays the same.
Yeah.
But it's modular in the sense that with the nature of the music and the projects.
Right.
You want to bring in more players. Like the continuo is like the bass. They're like the bass section, and then so you have built into the group's identity is actually the need to collaborate with different people.
Oh yeah, that's
because
okay,
the people playing melody or treble lines are not actual members of the core continuo band. So it is it's like the continuo band is the same and has always been the same, but it's like built into the identity of the group is these collaborative projects.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we do have we're working with a percussionist for this project who is not in every. We don't have drums. Rami is a percussionist from like Turkish traditions, and like that. It's not in every project of ours, but it works super well in these Scottish dances.
Awesome.
But it is it's an unfinished ensemble.
Sure. And it's always kind of
forever unfinished.
Yeah. I like modular.
Yeah.
Cool. So how do you guys go about finding arrangements? Do you find existing publications? Do you write your own stuff? How much improvisation? How's that work? Go for it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
about the sets.
For this project.
Yeah, sure.
For the Scottish music.
And this is tonight's program.
Yes, half of tonight's program is the Neil Gow collections.
Right.
And so the Neil Gow collections they were assembled under Neil Gow's name, but it's essentially a lot of tunes from the Scots tradition. which were just probably like in living memory at the time they're compiled, which was in the early 1800s, late 1700s. And I had come upon these collections, I don't know, years ago, and I always, I've been fiddling for a while, and I found that I thought these would be awesome to bring to Ruckus because the only information given for like the continuo section is just like a one-note bass line for all of the tunes, and there are like hundreds and hundreds of these tunes, and there are like 4 books of these dance tunes, fiddle tunes, and I was like, oh great, like basically no information except for like one note. A Ruckus would be amazing at just like fleshing this out and improvising on it, and the more freedom they have, the more engaged and fun it'll be. And yeah, so we started, actually I think I was at that point I was playing, I guessed it on a different program, and I sort of like, one late night we kind of jammed on a bunch of these tunes, just like read through a couple of my favorite ones, and instantly it was just like, this works. Boom. Like this is just like this is exactly what this needs. So you asked about like instrumentation and the arrangements, and I don't really think of them as arrangements. I think of it more as just like we come in and we like throw all the ideas on the wall, and it's just like whatever sticks is the arrangement, and it changes every performance, every rehearsal. Something is slightly different. So
and there's something really essential in our process, which is trusting trusting the team, and because if you want people to be improvising, you can't just like you can't be in a situation where you're being playful and throwing something out into the world and it's being met with no. That like theater teacher thing of yes and has to really be like an ethos in a sense, and it's really important to just know that like there's a self-editing process that people go through in the band, and I think like that's one of the main things that I've been learning is like you have to trust it's really good people, and you just have to trust their instincts to self-edit. Sure. And yeah, very organic. Otherwise, it's very improvisation based.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm wondering if you might want to talk a little bit about. So that's again, you said one of the halves of the program actually this evening. I'm wondering if you want to maybe talk a little bit about any other collaborations you're doing, projects you have, even stuff coming up that you might want to plug. And certainly you might want to tie in the first half of the program as well, and we can kind of use that to wrap up. So, yeah.
Sure. So then this upcoming season we're touring this show some more and other a handful of projects, but it's the one like sort of our big project for the upcoming year is a collaboration with bass baritone Devon Tynes. Oh. And
he was here last year.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, so your people will know him well.
Yes, they will. He had a great podcast episode.
Yeah, I bet. And it's in response to the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It's a lot of new works from and arrangements of material from the last 400 years. We're taking that all over the place next season. I'm trying to think what would be closest, but definitely we're going to be doing a workshop performance in Hudson and at the Clark in Western Mass in October. But that one's pretty big, and it's a sort of a special. It's probably not going to come around that often because it's sort of tied to this historical moment that we're in.
Yeah, and I'm playing on that one too.
Yeah, awesome, excellent.
But, we're gonna just keep roping Kier in for as much as people can.
Yeah, I like this level of like loose membership, collaborative. It's like all the fun and none of the responsibility. But Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, I'm also very excited about, we're continuing to tour this Scottish Corelli program, and also the Edinburgh Rollick program, which is the CD that we put out last year of Scottish fiddle music from the Neil Gow collections. And yeah, I feel like I want to just
play.
I just want to keep the Ruckus vibes going, because it's been so much fun.
We were one thing we didn't mention is artists that we like have in our ears.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think there's two artists that I think we both have been really thinking about a lot with this program. The fiddler Martin Hayes, for sure, and also the eminent gamba player Jordi Savall. And Jordi really, I think, is a very inspiring presence for a lot of us in the band, and
just bringing together that, really like roots Scots-Irish fiddle playing with like the possibilities of early music, like the instruments, the gut strings, the kind of orchestrational textures available, and the idea of like fusing those two things together was like really basically the impetus for this album and program. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it, actually. Really nice, guys. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Yes, Ruckus is with us for a concert on Thursday, July 31st at the First Presbyterian Church of Skaneateles. You can learn more about SkanFest events and buy tickets at skanfest.org. Thanks to Ruckus group members, Clay and Kier. And thanks to you guys for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.